Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I know I am late with a recap of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. As you guys all know, I've been busy. I've been in Washington, D.C. We're filming the Million Man March, Justice or Else. So that kept me really busy last week, so I did not get a chance to recap Love and Hip Hop. But I did get a chance to watch it, so what I'm going to do this week is kind of put both episodes into one episode for you guys, okay? So my thing is this, let me start by saying this. I feel like Monice is doing way too much. There's just way too many characters this season. I can barely keep up. And I'm also tired of her bringing people on as friends, and then all of a sudden they turn into cast members, just like Willie of Day 26. Initially he was Omarion's friend. Now him and his wife Shanda are cast members. I can't tell her apart from the crazy girl Brandy. I just feel like it's just way too many people on the series, and it's really, really hard to keep up. But the one thing I did like about last week's episode is that we finally got a chance to see Monice's mother, and Monice's mother is beautiful, but she's kind of talkative and she's kind of crazy like her daughter. Now, what I do like about Monice's mother is that she doesn't make excuses for her daughter, and she wants the best for Monice, but Monice is still young and she's still kind of stubborn. You know, when her mom asked her what her priorities were, when Monice started naming everything but Cameron, I was really disappointed in her, because as we all know, Monice has been accused from day one of being a deadbeat mother, not being there for her son. So for her not to mention his name and then get mad at her mom, like, well, I shouldn't have to mention his name. That should just be common sense. And I'm talking about Cameron. It's not common sense. You need to talk about your child. You need to make him a priority first and foremost before you make rich dollars or your sex toy business or anything else a priority. She needs to talk about Cameron, and she needs to not only talk about Cameron, but she needs to walk the walk and do for Cameron as well. Another thing I also found funny about the whole Willie and his wife situation. So now Willie done brought his wife and their 2 kids all the way from Chicago to LA with no type of plan or anything. They're just living off of their savings. The wife can tell that the money is dwindling. She wants to go back to being a stripper. But for some reason, Willie's opposed to this. He feels some type of way. He doesn't want everybody seeing his wife's body. Now I always find this really, really hypocritical when guys go to the strip club, they end up getting with strippers, they wife them up, and then they want them to just leave their occupation and move on. My thing is this, I don't understand why he's trying to come at her like that. Now I understand he doesn't want a lot of guys seeing her body and the fact that they have 2 kids. That's what happens when you wife up a stripper. So if she wants to go back to stripping to make ends meet, by all rights she has the right to do that. But I also feel like as a mother, there are other ways to make money besides shaking your ass on a pole. You know, but I just don't enjoy their storyline. I could care less about Day 26. I could care less about this whole entire situation. He came onto this show to kind of basically promote his album, and honestly, this show's probably going to end up not only hurting their marriage, but also his music career. If he really wanted to make a comeback, he should have made it back a legitimate way, as opposed to coming on to a ratchet show like Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Moving on to the next scene. So now the last thing that I want to talk about from last week's episode was when Monice's mother finally met with Rich Dollars. Now I thought this was a straight up trip. She was giving Rich Dollars the 3rd degree. She was going off on him. She brought up the fact that he doesn't pay child support. And then, you know, she had the nerve to round up his age to the nearest hundreds by saying that he's 40 and that Rich is close to her age as opposed to her daughter's age. Now I understand what she's saying about that, but what I found funny is that she got upset when Rich Dollars is the same to her. He was like, okay, well, you're 47, but if we round that up, that means you're closer to 50. She had the nerve to get an attitude. I don't understand that. Why are you mad? Especially being that she looks damn good for her age. But my thing is this, she can't get on Rich Dollars about him being a deadbeat, and her own daughter is a deadbeat as well. Not only has she as a mother put it out there that her daughter does not take care of her grandchild, but also Lil Fizz has put it out there that Monice does not take care of little Cameron. So to me, birds of a feather flock together, and Rich Dollars and Monice make a good couple because neither one of them take care of their children. Moving on to the next scene. Now, also in last week's episode, I also found it funny the whole situation with Teairra and Princess. Princess is finally woken up, and she's realizing that Teairra is shady, and she ends up going down to Miami, you know, to go down there and go kick it with Ray J. But as we all know, Teairra has let Ray J know about the whole Vegas trip, and then at that point, Ray J ends up confronting her, and they end up breaking up, and she throws a drink in his face, and she storms off. I don't feel bad for Princess at all, because it makes no sense why a female would be close with her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend and think that the ex-girlfriend has your best interest at heart. Princess is as ditzy as she looks. So this week's episode is fresh in my mind. I just watched a little bit ago. So in the opening scene, we see Princess, and basically she's packing up all her stuff. She finally came to the conclusion that she's moving out of Ray J's house. She has her own apartment. She cannot take it anymore. And I don't blame Princess for finally waking up and moving back. We'll see how long this ends up lasting. In the next scene, we have Nia and Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy feels like he needs to bring Nia into his world and let Nia know everything that's going on between Nas and himself. He tells Nia that Nas sold up at his house during his video shoot, and Nia's really upset. And Soulja Boy decides to take them down there to go meet Nas, so that way he can prove to Nas how much he loves Nia. But Soulja Boy's dumbass is not thinking that Nas also has proof that Soulja Boy has not been faithful, and that Soulja Boy has been telling her one thing then practicing another thing. So when they get there, you know, Nas is boosted at first when she sees Soulja Boy, but as soon as she sees Nia, she's automatically in the defense. So she's really upset because she feels like Soulja Boy had no business bringing Nia to the coffee shop to come meet up with her. So anyways, they start going back and forth, and Soulja Boy saying one thing, it's a bunch of he said, she said, and then Nas ends up shutting it down, and she's like, you know what, Nia, if he doesn't want me, if he doesn't want to be with me, then he needs to stop texting me. So Nia's like, well, let me see the text messages. So Nas ends up giving her phone to Nia, and Nia's going through all the text messages, and basically everything that Nas is saying is true. Soulja Boy was leading Nas on and making it seem like he wanted to be with her anytime he was angry at Nia. So now to me, Nia just looks dumb as hell. And then Nas is saying, well, you should thank me, and Nia saying, I would never thank a hoe. And they end up going back and forth, and Nas says that Nia has all types of miles on her coochie and everything else. My thing is this, both of these hood rats, chicken heads, thoughts, they need to have several seats. I do not understand why the hell, for the life of me, they are fighting over Soulja Boy, y'all. Soulja Boy, not Jay-Z, not T.I., not Nas, Soulja Boy. You know what I'm saying? They're acting like they won a prize. You know, I just don't understand this, and I don't understand why Nia is so upset. Now, earlier in the season, you was Miss, oh, Soulja Boy can do what he wants to do on the streets and what he wants to do after the concert. As long as he comes back home to me, I'm not tripping. So now that he's being honest and he's letting you know that he's fucking with Nas, why are you mad? You know what I'm saying? You allowed this to happen. You cannot be shocked when you allow something to happen and then it eventually blows up in your face. So I don't feel bad for Nia at all. I don't feel bad for Nas. They're basically allowing this guy to play both of them like the fools they are. Moving on to the next. So in the next scene, we have Amber. So she's on here basically crying and getting in her feelings because she went onto Instagram and she saw a bunch of pictures of Milan and Miles, and they're, you know, hanging around with a bunch of thoughts, and they got a bunch of girls in their faces, and Amber is feeling some type of way. And I'm just thinking to myself, girl, bye. If you still for a moment think that your so-called friend / you know, long-term lover is straight, that's on you. I just don't feel bad for this woman because it's obvious she's just trying to play this naive role. Nothing about Miles is straight, but go on ahead and keep on acting like he is if it makes you sleep better at night, boo. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Miles, and Miles is shooting this bootleg-ass music video, honey, on the beach with a bunch of guys who I also suspect are gay, but they're all sitting there shooting the music video. They're having a good old time. Miles is trying to put this big-ass Kool-Aid smile on his face, but then the music gets dramatic. It gets really, really sad. Miles walks off down the beach, and he's really hurt because last episode, Mr. Mulan dumped his ass after he found out that Miles had went over to Fabulous Amber's house. So he's really upset. He keeps calling Mulan, and then the scene flashes over to Mulan, and Mulan is seeing Miles's calls, and he's hitting end, and that shit had me cracking up. I was like, I don't understand how these guys are on television trying to, you know, basically play us like we're stupid. Like, Miles, ding, 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 do you understand you're on TV? There's cameras following you around, and nobody believes that you're on the DL. You look like you've been gay since elementary school, let alone high school, okay? I'm not buying this storyline. I'm tired of this whole, I'm in the DL, I'm in the closet, I don't want anybody to find out. It's just getting really, really tiring. It's, you know, it's kind of insulting my intelligence. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Willie, and basically Willie just got done arguing with his wife about money, and he's saying that he's trying to come up with a plan for them. He goes to go meet up with one of his old managers from Day 26. His name is Screwface, and basically he's looking for Screwface to help him out. He wants him to get his album out there, but Screwface is saying that he cannot help him out because Willie, what? He's in a contract, so he can't just up and help him because, you know, he's working with somebody else. Willie is saying that this music company that he's with, that he signed the contract with, they dumped millions of dollars into his album and promotion and everything else, but they ended up leaving his album on hold. So right now he's in limbo. And so Screwface tells him that he needs to man up and go talk to his management team at the other company and let them know that he wants to come out his contract. Now, to me, this is bullshit. Willie had no business moving his entire family from Chicago to LA without a solid business plan, or at least without income coming in. LA is no joke. It's extremely expensive. Now I understand why him and his wife are doing this ratchet ass reality TV show. They literally came to LA broke as hell, and it's not okay, nor is it fair. And I also think it's BS that he thinks he can get out his contract without having to pay these people back. They literally pumped all this money into his album, regardless if the album is on hold or not. They're not just gonna let you go without a fight. Moving on to the next scene. So in the next scene, we have Miss Nikki Baby, aka the Carly Red of this season, who has absolutely no storyline whatsoever. So Miss Nikki Baby is chilling with crazy ass Brandy, honey. And of course, Brandy will never shut her big mouth. She's running her mouth. She's talking shit. Nikki Baby's telling her about the whole situation that went down with Jason and how Jason Lee had threw that drink in Hazel E's face. And so basically, Jason decides to come to Miss Nikki Baby's party because he was invited before the big blowout. And he decides to bring Kamaya with him because he wants, basically Kamaya to not make any enemies because she's new in the industry. So they walk in, and of course there's all this drama, and Miss Nikki Baby is basically saying that she does not want Jason there because she's upset at how Jason treated Hazel E and what he did to her. Now nobody is talking to little Miss Brandy, okay, and she's popping off. Her mouth is extra wide, all her teeth are extra shown. I thought she was gonna bite somebody in their face, and it's just doing too damn much. Her ass done got involved. Jason's looking like, who the hell is this? Kamaya's looking like, who the hell is this? Then next thing we know, Brandy grabs her drink and she throws it at Jason Lee. So Nikki Baby ends up kicking them both out of her party. They're cussing Miss Nikki Baby out, calling her fake and everything else, saying that her body looks just, ratchet, looks crazy. And they're arguing back and forth. All these people are fake as hell, need to have several damn seats. I don't understand how Miss Nikki Baby can talk about Kamaya having lopsided titties, and I don't understand how Kamaya can talk about Miss Nikki Baby's lopsided body when both of them had plastic surgery. And I feel like Kamaya looks a little bit better, at least her plastic surgery looks a lot real, but at the end of the day, she also has plastic surgery, so doesn't that make both of y'all fake? I'm just saying. Moving on to the next. So the next one we have Princess. The day before, she had met with April and Shanda and Nia. They were all in the pool together, basically talking about confronting Teairra Marie because of what Teairra Marie sent to Ray J. So now fast forward to the next day, they're all meeting up with Teairra Marie. Teairra Marie is hanging out with Monice, so Monice is there as well. And Monice is asking them, are they friends? What's up with this relationship? And Teairra Marie's trying to play it out. She's like, well, we're cool, but we're not friends like that. And then Princess decides to start crying and saying, well, you know what? I thought we were friends. I trusted you. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, in what world are you best friends with your current boyfriend's ex-girlfriend? Like, this makes no sense. You were the other woman. Why do you think that Teairra Marie would have your best interest at heart? It's like, dude, can you wake up? You're a beautiful girl. Is your self-esteem that low? Were you that desperate for a friend? So the whole situation makes no sense to me. And Teairra Marie literally has zero fucks to give. She's shrugging her shoulders and she's basically keeping it real, like, no, we were not friends, and I did this because you and Ray J shitted on me last season, so payback's a bitch. But then she ends up hitting April. Somehow April got in the way. The whole situation was a mess, but I will say that Princess did land some punches. And then after that, Teairra Marie decides to spit on Princess, which to me is just disgusting. It shows that Teairra Marie is trash. That is the nastiest thing you can do to another human being, is to spit on them. So I lost a lot of respect for Teairra Marie for that. I just thought that was just disgusting, and it was not that serious, and Princess should have laid her the hell out after she spit on her. So in the last and final scene, we have Miles, aka the man who doesn't realize that he's on reality television, and there's a whole damn camera crew, a sound man, a lighting crew, and everything else following him. Yes, that Miles. So Miles decides to go seek counseling. I'm like, really, VH1? Y'all waste no time trying to cross-promote y'all shows. Giving Miles all this, advice, and saying that Miles needs to be honest with himself, and he needs to be honest with Milan, and he most definitely needs to be honest with Fab Ab. And Miles is crying, and he's just heartbroken, he's torn. And I'll say this, Miles is a damn good actor. Somebody give his ass an Oscar nomination, because he even had my heart kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to play a little violin for him and everything else. I'm like, Miles is a damn trip. I just don't understand this whole, he needs to get a counselor to come out the closet. Like I said, this is obviously scripted. It's obviously, it's very obvious that Miles has been gay for a long time. The people who really believe that he's, basically on the DL, y'all need to wake the hell up. But I will give Mona Scott this. She is definitely milking this storyline. She's definitely playing up on this whole DL lifestyle and him being tortured between the church and Amber and his gay lifestyle and everything else. So it's going to be really interesting to find out what happens next week on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. So anyways, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this week and last week's episode, honey, of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. What was your favorite part of the episode? And then how do you feel about Miles going to counseling to be able to come out the closet? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right. Deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.